Here are a few best practices for any data analyst. First of all, there is no guesswork in data. If you do not know the answer, do not make one up. I tell my new analysts that the day of guessing is officially over for them. I encourage people to answer with things like "let me confirm" or "I can get that information." Don't send your manager off thinking one thing, only to discover you are way off. There is no dialing it back. People will react to the information that you give them, and they believe you're providing them the answer, not a guess. Don't publish a talking point with data until you have edited it and verified it. You can do a few of these verification steps yourself, and I'll share that a little bit later in this course. But it never hurts to have a peer review. The more senior the people on your team, the more they'll appreciate the fact that you went that extra mile to ensure accuracy. I'm sure all of us have been to meetings where people were not prepared for the meeting, and we need to use our time effectively because we don't have a lot of it. It's so easy when everyone is together for all of that time to be gone. Be sure you ask to be on the agenda. Let people know you need just a few minutes to gain clarity or get feedback. Take notes of everything in relationship to the objective. Sometimes people who have the information are hard to reach, and when you have time with them and they're giving you that information, be sure to make notes on it. It can be frustrating when people come into meetings and they start presenting information and there's no setup and no context behind what they're presenting. So I encourage people to provide some details about what you'll be presenting so that when they're getting the first view of it, they can understand it. It's also helpful when you provide that detailed information, when they review it after the meeting, they can have that information as a primer before they dive in. I like to use Word documents and simply list where the data came from, key definitions of things that they may see, and other information that might be relevant for them so they can get the most out of the data. I have been in so many meetings where data analysts just throw data up on the screen and dive in. And it will make the presentation way harder than it needs to be. Do not eat up critical time that you need for follow-up by just diving in on screen. When you have a lot of ground to cover, use a slide deck to help guide you through. That deck will keep you on track. It also ensures that you've covered all of your key points without getting sidelined by people looking at your data as you've just dove in on the screen. I learned pretty early on in my career that people need time to process and digest the things that I'm showing them. I have to reiterate the key points while they're looking at what's on my screen. I remind presenters all the time, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you've just told them and give them time to understand and process so they can ask valid questions. So my last best practice is keep in mind. It's never a bad idea to ask other professionals their best practices. People make mistakes. I wanted to share with you where I recognize most mistakes being made by new data analysts. When you're new to a role, you definitely want to impress, but this can be a dangerous misstep if you do not spend time learning about the data. Anyone can make a pivot table show up or create calculations, but did you pay attention to how that data is structured and what it meant to the overall objective? No matter how small the data set or how large and complicated, please spend time looking over what the field headings are, what the data types may be, and understanding of the values. People not looking for duplicated data in a set is a major issue. Again, if you spend a little bit of time up front, you'll be able to spot those. However, the bigger the data set, the harder it is to detect duplicates. It's impossible to detect them if you're not looking for them. There isn't a single data set that I work with that I do not sum the numbers, average them, and count them. It gives me a lot of information up front that I need later to verify my records. Record counts of each data set that you work with are invaluable to you as you begin to work with the data. If you're joining data with queries, you must know the record counts to validate your data set. If I have 50 product records and 1,000 sales records and I'm producing a sales order report, there's never going to be more than 1,000 sales. And if all of a sudden I see 50,000 sales records, I immediately know I have an issue. Time is valuable and it's a non-renewable resource. When you know that your time is limited with decision makers, be sure you have your questions documented ahead of time. That way you know all the questions you need to cover. Also document the answers you've received and follow up with confirmation that you have the correct understanding. I think one of the scariest things for me as a data analyst is knowing that anyone can make numbers show up and that they might appear to be correct. I would ensure before you go to the annual meeting and you've just told everyone that this is the best year of record or the worst ever, that you've done some form of verification of your calculations. You want to make sure that what you are showing is correct. From the newest analyst to the most senior, you must verify your numbers and calculations. Keep in mind that logical errors do not produce an error message. They're just incorrect. So take that extra time to verify your work. It's hard though, because sometimes people have been encouraged not to ask questions. I believe that this happens based on the types of questions people have asked over the years. However, if you have critically considered your question and you need an answer from an authority, then you definitely need to ask. Don't guess the answer. People will often provide you what they think you need, but not always everything you need. Be sure that you've asked for documentation. It could be that no one has ever asked for that documentation before. If it exists, you'll work smarter and not harder. And if it doesn't exist, then you've lost nothing. And if you create it, then you're providing even more value than just the data. I think sometimes people think that they just need to jump in. They don't spend enough time analyzing existing reports. There is literally nothing wrong with looking at system reports. I did it for years. And in fact, I encourage people to do it to save time. The people who built the system are typically responsible for what we call canned reports. There's a lot of value in understanding how the developers joined all the pieces together. Also reviewing the reports of others if they're willing to share. Understand if they're not sharing, it's likely the fear of someone else peeking over their shoulder. People are thrust into report writing regardless of skills. So it may be they are hesitant to share because they're scared of what you'll think about their data. Just carefully ask for information that might be useful to you as a new person to this data. Learning from others' experience helps you avoid mistakes and boosts your confidence at work.